A battle between two undefeated teams here in the East Coast Conference. College of Staten Island Dolphins taking on the Converse University Valkyries. A game of 2-0s, 3-0s if you're counting what's online on Battlefy, but they are both 2-0, 6-1 map record versus 6-0 map record. As we say aloha, friends, and welcome inside of the booth. Clutchy alongside my good friend Chef Billy with you here. And Billy, we got a game of undefeateds here. Yes, they're only 2 games in a round of 7s, but 2-0 for both of these teams. One of these teams is going to go for that loss here in this game.
I mean, if we're looking at the big picture here, outside of the East Coast Conference, we're looking at a number 12 ranked Converse Valkyrie team that has been skyrocketing up the collegiate rankings, garnering some massive wins in other competitions as well. So I think this is going to be a real test here for the College of Staten Island. I have casted them, you know this, many, many times. Didn't realize that was the Dolphin. I don't know how I didn't know that. But this is going to be a real test for them, okay? And I mean, we're going to need to see DPS line versus DPS line. Tanks right now are kind of a fluff off for me. If I'm being completely honest, playing a lot of tank myself, oh my God, it's brutal out there for you, my tank friends. But you know, the support line is Juno going to be heavily prevalent here in our week 4 matchup game?
Yeah, that's a great question as well, because Juno did get a little bit of a nerf, right? That healing damage fall off based on distance, so that is going to be a factor that comes into this. I know I still see Juno in my games, but then again, it's not as high level as these games are as well. What I have seen though, as of lately as well, is that because there were no changes, and I know you like this, the Battle Cattle is still in play. Orisas are still in play at the same time too. So who knows? Yeah, praise, right? I know. I think your favorite skin. I showed this to you, right? The rubber ducky Orisa skin, right? That was one of your favorite ones. But Orisa might be coming into play, and I know I've seen a few Orisas again in the higher level games as well. What are you expecting? I know you were saying sorry for the tank, but maybe that can get a little bit more in the right minds if you're an Orisa player right now.
As long as you have the proper cooldown structure going on with Orisa's kit right now, then you can own the game. You are basically indestructible. So that's where you have to have the Juno, though. You have to have that mobility when you have to time the hyper ring properly. That's the synergies that we're talking about right now. You know, we used to talk about tank synergies all the time, you know, the tank lines, but now it's the support in the tank that's really kind of becoming the inseparable bond that the most successful teams in collegiate and up and beyond are winning with right now. So Converse, like I said, they're number 12 in the Open rankings. That is about a week ago. So the newest ranking should be coming, I believe, or on Monday. We'll take a look at Twitter and see when that's going to come out. But I mean, starting out here in Busan, it's a tale of 3 different submaps here. I think Mecha Base, you could run Orisa. Orisa can be ran on every single one of these submaps. I think that you want to favor definitely Mecha Base, and I also think that Sanctuary both really work really well for Orisa. I think if you're looking at downtown, you have to have somebody that can contest high ground easily without having to use that very valuable hyper ring on the cooldown. So for me, Keegan, that's what I'm looking at. We're going to see what these two teams bring out here. There's everything to play for right now here in the East Coast Conference. They're both 2-0, 3-0 with the bye. Only 1 map loss between them. We'll see how this goes down.
Yeah, total of 12-0 on the map record. 6-0. Staten Island has been perfect, or rather, I should say, Staten Island has been 6-1. Converse 6-0, perfect on their record so far in the map record. So for the team that is number 12, started off number 9 in the Oka rankings. Going down to 12 in the last 2 rankings, though, but being there as of very, very soon if they play alongside as they have been playing in recent days. 15 seconds left to go into the point unlocks. You do see Orisas come out of play. Juno Sarad breaks her out. Only difference, though, between the two, Genji versus Farah. I have seen a lot more Genji lately, but the Widowmaker is going to make this a lot less hard for Staten Island to push in by, because you don't have to worry about that Farah for right now. Though the break does come out of play for the moment here. Farah still being a very, very bad presence, and the Widowmaker, on the other hand, Ripser is down by the hands of the Widowmaker, and Invu on the Genji as well is going to cause a whole lot of trouble. Valkyrie's off and running.
Yeah, that's the power of the Genji right there. I mean, you're looking for a long-term poke or long-range poke as opposed to finishing power. And you also have the deflect as well, so you've got extra mobility there. with Chongyun or with Invu being on the Genji. So we'll see how they decide to pat this around. Are you peeling back for your backline for Chance and Arlanta? Now, Phobic came out with an early pick, but they weren't able to capitalize on it. They played a little bit too passive in that first fight.
Well, play back they will yet again. They don't want to run into this Genji all too much, especially with a deflect on it. Chongyun moves on over from the far into the Genji instead, already up to 30%, but Invu 20% away from the blade. They're just deflecting her back and forth, but the more time that Converse can waste away, the better here just to build up some ultimates. Torpedoes come up already. Hyper Ring is out just to see if they can push on in here. And now it's going to be the Orbital Ray that comes out, and the Orbital Ray comes out from Bioactive before Arlanta has one. But Converse is okay with that. They cut away easily, and they'll take that any day of the week.
Looks like they're going to go ahead and pass off, maybe. Yeah, they're going to go over control here, and they're going to take a better fight. And I like this. Now they're going to put their own Orbital Ray out.
Terra Surge and Orbital Ray both come out at the same time, and that doesn't really matter anyways. It's going to be one-for-one trades on the Junos on either side. You're up to break healings only at this point, but Hammer taking 2 shots and 2 kills, making 3 shots, 3 kills on the Cammy Ripster and Phobic, and all you got left is a lone Genji out there. Converse gets it back.
You love the Genji on Genji violence there. And I mean, now you're working with house money here. You only give up 18% in the interim. You also get out the Orbital Ray from Bioactive. Now you're even on your rally. So really, I want to see how they push in on this. I think that they need to get a blade out early.
See if they do get that blade out early. Infra sights are going to be on either side, though, just to check their sight lines. But really, it's only just to see who's where. Now it's going to be the blade that comes out. No shield bashes just yet, but Chongyun's stuck in the corner, and they're going to kite away for right now, but he does find the blade onto Arlanta for right now. That is a 1-for-0 trade at the moment, but Converse still has 3 ultimates in their pockets with 87%. Not a lot to work with here for Staten Island. And they're going to have the Terra Surge. The blade comes out at the same time. It's kind of like a mini Graviton Surge, if you will. But it might not even matter. Cammy's able to take down Nova. There is the blade that takes down Ripster. But is it going to be enough? Because Staten Island looks like they're going to be able to flip this. And in fact, with Invu gone, they may be able to take this point.
Yeah, they absolutely flip it out. And I mean, it cost them 4 ultimates. 5 if you include the pre-used Orbital Ray. So what I'm looking at right now is Cammy's going to have their Terra Surge up. That's a fight win, because, I mean, other than, if Arlanta can get this Orbital Ray up, that's the only thing that's going to protect you from the Orisa ultimate.
Well, let's see what plays out here, because you're going to have at least this very, very low Orisa who gets the help of the Fortify and the Orbital Ray just in the nick of time by Bioactive, as now the Terra Surge comes out, finds absolutely nothing, mind you, but that Terra Surge does force them back for a little while, so that's a win if you get Chance down early on.
I mean, it cost them, though. It cost them that Orbital Ray. Cammy got a little bit overzealous with their with knowing that they had the Terra Surge in their back pocket. So now it's going to be up to Chongyun and Ripster to get their ultimates back online. Arlanta's going to have an easy fight here with their Orbital Ray in their back pocket.
Now it's 67%. It's going to be Arlanta that pulls out the Orbital Ray. There's torpedoes at the same time. Sees this, forces them all the way back down to half health. Nova's all the way back up. So Staten Island already having a kite back from that Orbital Ray, but the Orbital Ray's now over. So now the Dolphins are like, let's hit the go button here. Let's try and play this out, because it's a dry fight on either side. Phoebic's the only one with an ult, but that's only an infra sight at this point. 16% and rolling, no chance we're getting the whip shot, and that's a big pick onto Cammy as they are able to flip the point back, forcing out overtime. Something big's gonna happen here, but something big will not come soon enough. It will be Converse that takes the point, albeit in a close fashion. 185, Valkyries are off and running.
Yeah, the Valkyries really did manage their ultimate cycling very well. I think other than that early trade of Orbital Rays with the 2 Junos, I mean, you forced a lot out from Staten Island. Still 85% garnered by Staten Island there. It's nothing to shake a stick at. They definitely understand this meta with the Orisa and the Juno working in harmony. Ripster was absolutely ripping on the Brig, and I love seeing that, having that backline presence and being able to deal with it. So you're looking at some changes here. Hammer going over to the Cassidy. Invu is probably going to swap over to a Tracer to make that backline have a little bit more room for pause.
Yeah, you've got that Cassidy now into play from Converse's side, so they're thinking maybe they can get a few shots off, maybe stun off this Genji at the same time. Phobic, like you said, alongside flight lines with that Ashe, maybe at the very least, and that Dynamite can save them off too. 14 seconds left to go on the clock before this point unlocks here. They're going to play very aggressively. First to get to the middle, though, is Converse, and they want to push this go button already. They are already into the back line, and they're just trying to tack their way in. Fortunately, though, Nova's falling oh so low. Do you have enough feeling to do so? Into the corner you go. Gets hit by the javelin, but is able to escape their lives. So that's the fight that Converse wanted. You force them all the way back. You flank them kite off, and now you can get the rest of the damage done and dusted.
It is Envu going in there and using that dash to get through, and then having dash resets once you see a opponent fall. So, I mean, right now for me, it's aggression. It's understanding that your cooldowns are ready on cycle, and you can push in behind it. You know that you've got the biscuits coming in from Chance, and those healing torpedoes coming in from Arlanta. Absolutely great understanding of the meta here.
Good understanding so far. Staten wants to make sure that they can at least have some say into this positioning right now, but Hammer's going to say, no, not yet. You don't get a chance. Moby goes down early on and back into this little chokehold run they go. There's a Deadeye available. There's not a Terror Search yet, but there's going to be a Blade soon enough. Doesn't even need it, though. Inbu will dash away, finds 1-2 in the back line. Back to the spawn room they go.
So this is the power of the Cassidy right now. First of all, it's mid-range hit scan, right? So, I mean, you've got that damage being pumped out into basically a static area where Invu is holding them with the Genji, the deflect, the dash away. I mean, so much mobility and so much pestering factor coming in from Invu.
It doesn't feel like either that Obic's making all that much of a difference to try to counter that out. Deadeye's going to come out to see if that helps out. Anything Hypering is there, and this is going to be a deflecting Genji, but how long are you going to be able to hold this for? Hammer's able to find Bobik with parts of the shot, but then finds a follow-up shot right after that. Over the raise down. Hammer's going to hit the headshot in the air onto the Juno, and all the ultimates that are going to come out. Converse using both of their support ult to manage the situation down. Staten Island using 2 of their own, but in fact, results to a team kill for the Valkyries.
So Ripster's going to have initiator here early. They were smart to hold on to it once they, once you trade out the orbital raise. I think that you take that as a win, but I mean, you're almost 20% away from losing this first map. Bob's going to be online. That could be another entry point for this Dolphin squad.
6-man available on the floor here for Bobik now. See where they decide to place it, and that's going to go right in the corner of the staircase. So you got to worry about a Genji that's going to be trying to blade you here, but a coach gun and a dynamite away will burn away Inbu, so the blade goes for naught. Converse, that may be the opening door for Staten Island here. Dolphins want to get some percentage else on the board, and they will in fact do so. A great stave away from the blade gives them point.
I mean, the stagger is brutal on Chance as well. So, I mean, good initiation there from Ripster, using the rally to get themselves on the point. Bob is kind of a distraction over on the other side of the point. So now Blade of Chongyu, this could be massive.
Nothing to counteract with it either. The blade goes for free here without any open of an orbital ray or a rally. But as I say that, though, they might have to pull out the blade soon if you want to win this fight. Nova's found 2 already, and Changmin's got to go. You've got only Juno support left to play here, and now it's just going to deflect out. 98%, this is not good news because you're going to just lose the point, and you're not even going to get a touch on here at overtime because even if they speed away, it's just not going to happen. It's 134 there on Mechabase, 185 on Sanctuary. Converse off the lead, number 12 in the Oka rankings, up 1-0.
That is a statement there on Mexa. They decided to swap up their DPS option, rather going over to the Cassidy, and that grenade provided so much value, Keegan. That is what these top tier teams are able to do. So, I mean, in showing why they are a fantastic DPS for this Valkyrie, and now looking at the, this is the map loss here for CSI. Like I said, this is going to be an uphill battle for them, but they really have a good understanding of how they were moving out of these fights. I think just being a little bit more proactive, getting into these fights and looking for that back line, trying to force that hyper ring, I think is something else that they need to be focusing in on. If they could do that and get their Genji into the back line, I think they have a lot more success.
Yeah, and you saw a lot of that aggression coming out from Converse's side once they had that hypering out, once they had that kind of nice cooldown to go with, once they had that hypering go button was on, they were able to flip the switch and they were able to play a lot more aggressively, though we didn't get to see much of the Converse that did play back on Sanctuary. They had that back and forth kind of thing. They were waiting. They were a little bit more patient with it, but unfortunately that time for Mechabase, it paid dearly for them. Again, but that Sanctuary game is one that if you're going to be a Staten Island fan, you're actually wanting to build off of because that was kind of the more patient game. That was that was waiting back, that was kind of not playing into their hands, but playing against their hand at the very least, and making sure it's a little bit more of an even fight. So you'd love to see that if you're on Staten Island side as we go on to our next map here very soon. Kings Row, surprise, surprise, as we move on to hybrid. It will be Kings Row, so Scrims Row back in play. I'm not expecting anything different, are you?
Not really. I think that we might see the fair come back out, though, for first and maybe third points. We also saw Widowmaker. Widowmaker plays very well with good sight lines and being able to move around in the kill box area there on points A and C. But I think that we're going to have a steady diet of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much Kings Row. I mean, they call it Scrims Row after all. This is where you try to figure out your compositions and control. I mean, we already figured out one. I'd be surprised to see if there was anything else but what we just saw earlier on, just the Juno, the Brig, and all of that as well. We enter Kings Row right now. It will be Converse University on the attacking side, so the aggressiveness to start off this already. And this is not Kings Row. We're being shown Midtown right now, although don't know if the map is either Kings Row or Midtown. Being told it is Kings Row, so this is not quite the right map, but we'll find out. It is still, I mean, hybrid either way.
Well, I mean, Kings Row plays well. Yeah, apparently we got to have a little bit of a bug on the back end. So we are definitely going to London for sure. So, I mean, it's all going to depend on, first point, how much time off defense versus decided they are going to take the defensive side here. So Staten Island looking to attack here. As you saw, they're going to look at maybe a double sniper. I think that Chungyun does go back over to that Genji. And we'll see what they can get done here. It's all about pathing. It's all about finding the vulnerability in the back line to start this off.
Let's see here. We know that the Forest can, the Widowmaker can come on, but essentially, though, an immediate switch off from the Widowmaker onto there, but Hammer throwing down the Hammer onto Chungyun immediately right out of spawn gate, saying you're not going to get away with this that easily. Kill onto the bar, and that saves off a lot of time. That's the immediate switch on over to the Genji.
Yep, I mean the experiment did not work, and well, yeah, go back to the tried and true there. The other thing that I would be looking for here from a defensive standpoint is trying to wall the Orisa off. I mean, if this doesn't work out, I would definitely be looking at, holy crap, that's a Kobe shot if I ever saw one.
Yeah, calls Kobe there. Invu's able to call number 8, number 24's name. Now it's just a pushback scenario. You lose Chungyun. So Chungyun's already down 2 deaths in this round alone so far. In this 3 minutes and 8 seconds, you feel like Converse has a good handle on the defensive end for right now, as this Orisa just cannot walk up the stairs without taking loads of damage. Finally will be able to, though, and now it's just Hammer looking to see if anybody's out there, but they're just stuck in their staircase right now. They can't move.
But because of all the damage that Cammy is taking, they have the orbital rate coming out right now. They're going to go ahead and go aggressive with it.
Yeah, they're going to go aggressive with the orbital rate to start us off here. Hammer gets an idea of where Phobic is. Phobic has no clue where the Widowmaker is at the start of it. This orbital ray is big, but the shots from Hammer are bigger. Converse is going to stave them off. Staten Island's got no answers.
I mean, we're a minute and a half in, and we've already had a cycle of orbital rays. Now you've got a Terror Surge available to both sides. You'll be able to see where everybody's coming from with the sights coming out from Hammer. So it's going to be up between Ripser and Chance. Who's going to get the rally up first?
Let's see here. Converse is going to have Terror Surge, Barrage, as well as the Infra Sight. Cammy's only going to have the Terror Surge. Staten Island Striver, they're only going to have a 3-for-1 ultimate to play here with halfway through the time deck. They are able to trade out, though. Terror Surge is able to find one onto Bioactive, which means now the defense holding even stronger. Yes, they do get rid of Hammer, but what's the cost at this point? Both your DPSs and your tanks. Staten Island falls down. Converse, yet again, put up the fence.
I mean, you're going to be looking right now for what you can get on the back of that kill. And I talked about the May. Defensively, they're going for it. Offensively, they're going to try and section. They're going to try and section off Nova here. There is still a barrage, so that wall could go down in a hurry, and Cammy might be up the creek without a paddle.
Oh, Chungyun's going to move on without their life. Hammer's got another headshot, and Hammer's just been hitting every single thing here. You can imagine making this defense hold strong, and the Infra Sight is just going to make things a lot worse for Phobic too. Phobic has had no answers whatsoever for this Hammer Widowmaker, and 1 minute left to go. Converse has melted every single second.
I mean, they just put out their rally too. They went second with their rally, and they get the better benefit of it. There's the wall just to stabilize the retreat. I mean, Chongyun has built up 53% to a blizzard, but you still have the possibility of getting it eaten. And Atlanta has gotten up their orbital ray once again, Keegan. So I'm looking at, what we have. They're going to go early with this. Staten Island is going to get aggressive on the back of this.
Oh, Invu's in the back. They have no clue. Orbital Ray's just there. But now it's a barrage that might come out early, but the barrage doesn't even get a chance to be used. Invu goes down, holds on to it at the very least. But it's still Converse that's holding on to this push here. Chancellor and Atlanta are doing God's work on the support side. 20 seconds left to go. You ain't got a shot to try to push back past this defense right now. 10 seconds left, overtime coming.
This is a 0% game. I mean, they have barely even had a sniff of the point here, Keegan. So they're running into Terror Surge and the barrage. Oh, that's going to be...
That's going to be a great amount of damage as well, but Staten Island may have finally found an answer. Phobic onto the Tracer instead, finds out Chance. Let's see if Hammer can find any more shots. Finding him down, just whittling it down shot by shot. The Blizzard does come out. That does freeze out Nova for a little while. There is the door open because they finally get Furisa down, but the torpedoes will say otherwise. And as Atlanta takes down Chongyun yet again. Chongyun's not been having a lot of fun on King's Row so far. Hammer at 63 health, but the pressure is still on because the attacking team still has the at least the spawn point advantage, but it doesn't even matter. No touches available. Converse is perfect on the defensive side and only needs one fight to win it.
I mean, Keegan, I have not seen a first point full hold of King's Row in I can't even remember the last time it happened, to be quite honest. That is just definitive of what Converse is able to do. They understand the sight lines. They understand being able to be proactive in their defense, right? And they're looking for these lanes. They're looking to close in on vulnerable targets. And Hammer just laid down a 10-pound hammer on the heads of the poor dolphins. They have been turned into sashimi-grade dolphin meat here on their attack. So defensively, they're going to have to come out and they're going to have to make the same kind of performance that Converse just did. I don't know if Phobic can keep up with Hammer right now because Hammer definitely injected some extra gamer fuel into the bays before they got into the lobby today because they are absolutely having a fabulous day.
You know the 2 words and the 2 letters you'd love to say right now for Hammer? Check them PC. Check them PC. Hammer's hitting every single shot right now and just making sure that Converse can full hold. But let's not stave away the impact that Chance and Atlanta has had. The last 2 fights there, bloodthirsty supports.
You love to see it. And you play a lot of support, Keegan.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen you do this. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair.
I don't do this on Juno and Brink though. The only time I ever get to do this is on Baptiste, and good change on the recoil as well. That means I get to be a little bit more bloodthirsty. But I ain't bloodthirsty as a Juno and a Brink as this. Hits another headshot. Mind you, doesn't get the kill, but regardless, it's still the pressure's on. Hammer does get Javelin. Good thing you're around the statue though. 17 health though. Where's that icicle coming from? It's coming from around the corner. Chung is right there to take down Hammer in the process. So that does give them off. But guys, you gotta touch the point.
No.
Nobody does. That's the tick. They had the advantage, but they didn't have the point advantage. So Converse, based on one fight, even one person lost, is going to get the second point and 1 away from the sweep.
It's been 0 days since Sir Charles IX has graced our server. Blessed be Sir Charles's name. Oh my God. No, this is exactly what you were talking about. They went aggressive with the orbital ray, and then Chance in Atlanta just says, hold my beer, I got this. And took care of it. That is fantastic work from the supports there. Holy cow. This is the Converse team that I was scared of coming into this engagement today. CSI are feeling what one of the top level teams in the country are doing to everybody right now.
Yeah, Converse number 12. Again, they started off number 9, fell a little bit in the rankings from that preseason down to the number 12 spot, but it stayed there in the last rankings. And it doesn't look like they want to budge from that spot. In fact, they want to even move up. And in fact, Converse University up 2-0 on, again, both of these teams being 2-0 record Right now, Staten Island against the wall, 2-1 on their way. Yes, on the online standings, you'll see that they're 3-1, but the bye is counting. I'm not counting the bye because that's a free win on the website in general. So there technically would be 2-1. Converse would move up to a 3-0 record. But mind you, again, Staten Island has dropped the map before. This is the only other game in this season so far where Staten Island has dropped maps, and now they're on the verge of dropping what would be a total 4th map in their season. They've been 6-1 on map records. Converse 6-0, and yet number 12 team not there for no reason.
And I you know what? I think they're playing aggressively from the back, and we don't talk about that a lot, Keegan. Their support play is right up there with the Winthrops, with the Redbirds. I mean, just the bloodthirstiness that we saw there. That's what you see the top level teams do, and I think that they have really maxed out what they can do by sharpening their skill in all the leagues that they're playing in right now, not only here in the ECC, but also in NACE and also in Homecoming right now. I mean, they are getting that steel sharpened steel that I like to talk about a lot. They're getting very sharp right now, and they're drawing blood.
Yeah, they're drawing absolute blood all over the place. And in fact, again, this is the team that if we look at previous semester, right, the SNH Staten Island team, not to be to say they're not impressive either. They made it to the Spring 24 finals inside of the ECC, took on SNHU, but Team Sapphire won there. And again, this is the Converse team that has made it out. If we're talking about here on Esports U, they made it out to the ECC finals back in May, 5 months ago from the Peach Belt Conference. So this is a team not to be wary of at all, and a team that, again, number 12, not there for no reason. They are playing aggressive. They are playing up there. If their supports can get bloodthirsty, you know there's going to be a problem when you play against them. Chance and Orlando have done a lot here. Credit to the supports, man. Credit to the supports. Got to give them some props there. And your endorsements. Remember, if you win a game, endorse your supports. Remember that. Remember to endorse your supports at the end of the game when you win. Next map coming up, just about to go down here. It will be Runasapi, the newest push map to come out of the Overwatch game. As we'll go into this right now. Again, nothing to be unexpected here, except Converse wants to maybe get a little silly with it, Billy. Maybe the Junker Queen gets out here.
I mean, Junker Queen does play well here, though. That's the thing, is pulling people out of position and then being able to close in on the back of it. And we know that Invu and Nova are on the same page. If you channel that in with Chance on the Brigitte, getting a stun, if they try to use mobility to get out of said knife pull, that could be a very quick and easy elimination here for Converse.
And it's not like on the other side of Staten Island they have a cuticle to cleanse any of that rampage either. This is a free ultimates if that lands for Nova at the same time too. But Kami's already up to 22%. Nova's just trying to find a way to 20%, but they are able to get the robot to push first here just because of the aggressiveness. Look, I mean, they already have the robot push. They're already pushing them back into this small area right besides the room. Yet they just cannot find an opening. No matter where Staten Island looks, that door's always shut.
Yeah, that's going to be Cammy going down here, and this is going to be go time. There's Gracie landing, and Carnage deals with the damage on the back of it. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's being able to find that target, pull them out of position, and then watch the rest of the team just have their way with it. This should be the first point being picked up by Converse.
Yeah, and that fight lasting so long that checkpoint could very well be in their hands already, making it down that very tough downhill section, I should say, and then making it now into the flat ground where it could be for that first checkpoint. It's 48 meters, only a couple of meters left within 5. They're not, I don't know if they're going to even try to touch the point here. They will, but they don't get the checkpoint either within 2 meters. But Hammer, though, is able to still hit shots, no matter if it's on the Widow, no matter if it's on the Ashe. The headshots aplenty for this Ashe player, for this DPS player. The hit scans all around. Converse keep pushing.
I mean, it's just a little bit off there, but I mean, that should have been a gong of death. But still, I mean, that's the checkpoint, and now they're pushing forward. We are less than 2 minutes in, Keegan. You've got a blade ready to go. You all think coming up for Converse.
Everything almost online for Converse. The Lone Soul, that is not Chance, but it doesn't really matter. You got 4 checkmarks coming up here. It is going to be the Orbital Raid plus the blade out at the same time. No picks falling yet. Chungyun's falling oh so low. How are you alive, Chungyun? Input's going to dash right in. Nova finally takes care of it, and it's going to be 2 kills for the Genji, 2 kills for the rest of the team. They're going to go past 100 meters, really.
I mean, that only cost them 2 or 3 ultimates. So, I mean, they went heavy with that. I remember that they did put the bomb out there just to kind of deal with any stragglers. It's almost a throwaway ult at that point, because you've got the Hyper Ring speeding into the engagement with the blade. even with the orbital ray out from Bioactive, it didn't matter.
Let's see, it's going to have to matter now. Staten Island's got to make something happen, and they're going to Hyper Ring as well as the Deadeye here. They're going to push this forward, but it's going to find nothing for a little while until Hammer does go down with it. It's going to be the Rampage that gets stunned out. It's going to be stunned out thanks to the native phobic, and that's going to be Staten Island staving off all of that pressure finally as they get the robot back.
What a turnaround there. That was exactly what Staten Island needed, and it only cost them 2 ultimates. So they've got some toys to play with here as they try to get to the midway point. 119.49 meters is what Converse got in just about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, Keegan. That is some dominance being shown up. Raleigh ready to go here for Converse to start off this next fight.
They're going to find their way in. Focus already found Inbu, though, so that's a very good signal. Then your backline's not going to be that depressed anymore unless the Hammer hits for more headshots. So Noble will dive right into the game. He takes care of that. Terror Search is available, won't be able to be used, but again, Bloodthirsty supports come out. That is the torpedoes out, and now the go button is on. Yes, you lost one, but Converse says it's not the end of the world. They're able to fight it back.
The pursuit is real there from Converse. They're looking for targets. They're looking to clean up that fight. They don't get it done, but what they do get is, once again, and you're coming up on the 3 most important ultimates here for Converse. The orbital ray, and then Bob is going to be huge.
Orbital ray comes out, Terror Search at the same time. Staten Island has a few people in there. Genji able to dash out, Hammer's not able to coach gun out. Going to be a fight win here unless something otherwise happens with 5:48 on the clock. They've got Nova separated out. Do you have enough damage to take care of it? Finally, Nova going down. Staten Island is able to regroup and will find their first meter points of the map.
Yep, this is good. This is good for them. They go ahead and get the early kill on the Hammer, and so that takes the long range poke away. It takes the burn damage away as well, and that is a real big sign here for Chongyun to be able to go in there and be aggressive.
Blade's going to come out. Chongyun's going to find nothing with it. Hammer hits the headshot also thanks to the knife as well, and it's going to be the orbital ray from Atlanta that is able to help and support all 5. Orbital rays have been good all series long, and yet again, Converse staving away what is only 3 meters from Staten Island.
The good thing here for Staten Island is that they've got a Deadeye, and now that you know that orbital ray is gone, it's almost free. I say almost because you still got chance that she can stun you out. You still got Nova that can pull you out of it as well. So looking at that, they have nothing to cleanse upcoming with this Rampage.
Deadeye's going to come out, but the Deadeye gets stopped immediately thanks to a lot of damage alongside of the torpedoes. Blade's going to play out here. Inbu's got 2 with 70 health, is able to find a second flash away. Billy, this is starting to look really, really bad, and in terms of a team kill, there might be it.
I mean, they've got the Rampage coming out of spawn as well. So, I mean, Ripser, they'll get their rally up. I don't know if they get a chance to touch. They're going to have to really push it.
You've got to find a way to touch. They do get the break to touch as well, but the Bob is out. Bob's already got down Ripser. It's just the Genji left to go on point, only within a couple of meters left. Hammer, though, is able to find a second final blow, and now the Rampage comes out at the same time, does take down Cammy, and that's just pretty much going to do it. All of the members wasted away from Staten Island. Converse domination. Thy name is Valkyrie. A sweep for Converse, 3-0.
I mean, we call it Runasapi, but when it goes down like that, it's run and slap you. that was a smackdown of epic proportions. My word, Hammer has had the extra gamer fuel all day long, and this is a perfect example of that. Look at all the assists that are coming in from the Juno. Man, oh man. I mean, you talk about, how these support squads are helping their teams. Chance and Atlanta had themselves a day. And the fact that you can use those torpedoes not only as healing, but also as damage to kind of focus and burst down. Juno's a little bit busted for me still, but I think the tuning is a little bit better, but you can see how you can exploit with the hyper wing, with the ability, with the glide that Juno has to be able to get that horizontal extra movement to get away from some of the incoming invaders. We'll see what happens down the line with Juno, but man, what a performance there from Converse today.
Look, I'm not going to say it here, okay? Juno's not, but I will. Juno's not busted. Leave Juno alone. Juno's fine. I'm not saying this just because I play Juno. I'm not saying this just because I play Juno. I like to play the Juno. All right, look. She's a good character. That's all I'll say.
Juno
Anyways,
is busted.
Juno is
I'm
yes.
saying it.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yes, I will say it as well with you. Final score, by the way, again, 3-0. Here, as you can see at the top of your screen, number 12 team, by the way, as we start to wrap things up for a little while. Billy, I know you're part of. You like to see some of the rankings here from Okra. Number 12 overall, yes, dominating fashion against Staten Island. Move up or down? Do we believe that the Valkyries are worthy of an up or down move?
Based just upon that, just that alone, absolutely, they need to go up at least one spot. It depends on how Bryant Stratton College out of Virginia did this past weekend, because they're sitting at number 9. I think that the ranks 8 through like 14 right now, it should be fluid. Because that's where like the big mixer is in the Okra rankings right now. So I want to see how do they do, and how do the teams above them do, and of course, Converse showing up like this definitely lends more credence to them having that upward trend. They did take that tumble from number 9 out of the top 10 at the beginning of the season, but I mean, I think that they were trying to find their identity still as well.
Yeah.
And they had a pretty rough outcoming as well coming out the gate. They had some of the strongest competition coming out for the initial ranking. So, we'll see if they're able to kind of parlay this into better rankings moving down the line. With play like that, you should be looking at maybe the ECC champion getting a coveted spot going into the ECC for 2025.
Yeah, we will very well see if they can win out this fall semester. And then, of course, Converse well on their way to do so. If you can beat a 2-0 team like that, well, you're well on your way to doing so. Special thanks goes out to our producer, Professor Layton, our observer, Cool Scoots. And for my partner, Chef Billy, we say thank you very much for watching. Final score one more time, a dominating fashion for this Converse Valkyries team. They win Busan 2-0, Kings Row 1-0, and Runasapi a completed map. Overall, a good showing for the Valkyries. You've been watching East Coast Conference right here on Esports U. We will see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.
No one can hide from my sight.